From the title of this video, you can see that I killed my terrarium. I had big plans to make a terrarium and show it off on a video and have it going on for a span of several months, but it didn't turn out that way. And rather than be sad and mope about this, I decided to make this video, learn from my mistakes, and share it with you so that we can all benefit from it. So let's start with where it all began. I wanted to create a terrarium using natural materials around my house. So I headed outside, I collected small rocks as a base layer, then I placed in dirt, and I was hoping to get all the native biota and seeds from the soil, and then I placed in moss and rocks on the surface. Again, this was all from my own yard, and little did I know I was actually setting myself up for failure, and I'll explain more in a bit. My terrarium, it started out wonderfully. It was green, it was beautiful, and little snails even popped out. They roamed around, and it was such a joy for me and for my children to watch. But pretty soon, things did turn south. The moss started to die off, it turned brown, mold started to grow, and I honestly felt kind of helpless. I didn't know what to do to fix it. I tried watering it less and taking off the lid so that there was some more airflow in hopes that the mold would go away, but then the moss would look really dry, and so I'd add water, and it was just this big cycle kind of teetering and tottering back and forth. So it got to the point where it was just done. I had to come to terms that this was a total failure. And I'll be honest, it took me a moment. I was pretty bummed about it in the beginning, but then I dove in straight away to figuring out what exactly I had done wrong so that when I try this again, it doesn't turn out this way. So I hopped on Reddit, got a lot of advice there, and also did a lot of research on my own, and here is what I found, and here are the mistakes I made, and hopefully the ones that you can avoid. So number one, mold is actually not a problem. Whenever I would see mold, I would try and get rid of it by opening the container and getting in more airflow, which ended up killing my moss because it didn't have enough moisture. And turns out killing the moss is a much bigger issue than there being mold in a terrarium. In fact, mold is quite normal and will be there during the establishing process of a terrarium. Not all of them, but most of them will have a moldy stage. And here's something I wasn't aware of. If you don't want to deal with mold, you can add in springtails. Springtails are small, wingless insects. They live in moist soil and decaying plant matter, and they will actually eat the mold in your terrarium. They will keep it from taking over. And you can buy springtails at your local pet stores, you can buy them online, and that will keep mold from taking over a terrarium. The second thing I learned was to apply a thin layer of glue or clear nail polish to the bottom of my cork lid, and this would keep the lid from molding and keep it nice and fresh. Third thing I learned, harvesting moss from your local area will not always work. So I made sure to collect from a place that I knew pesticides weren't being used because it was my yard and I wasn't using any. But I also forgot to rinse the moss off, which is a key step in creating a terrarium when you're collecting your own moss. And more importantly, not all mosses are equal. So I'm pretty certain that the moss that I collected from my yard is a pillow moss, and it turns out pillow mosses don't do so great in terrariums. That was something I was unaware of. Pillow mosses actually have a hibernation period where they will die off, and they take a while to acclimate to a new environment. So for me, my pillow moss would have died off in the winter and it would have come back when temperatures warmed up. And if you're wondering, well, what mosses do well? Here's some that I found that do better in terrariums. Number one, fern moss, mood moss, cushion moss, or feather mosses. Those are all known to do better than your pillow mosses in a terrarium. Fourth thing I learned, don't put in too many critters. When I collected everything, quite a few bugs got in, and that was fine with me. That's what I wanted. But even a small snail needs so much material to survive, and it could end up killing all your plant material if you don't have enough. Fifth thing I learned is to use distilled water. I was just using water from my tap. And actually, the buildup of the salt and chlorine in your tap water can really be detrimental to an enclosed terrarium. And with that, those are the 5 things I learned when I killed my terrarium. Thank you so much for watching. If I missed anything, feel free to comment below. Let's keep this learning process going of how to create a successful terrarium. And if you found this helpful and want more plant-related content, feel free to subscribe. I'm always trying to come out with content to help plant owners or gardeners like yourself.